Hi, Gamer here. In this video, we'll see all about LODs. So we'll be seeing them in action in this scene, and we see how optimize the scene from this red, not optimized version, to this scene which is blue and green and better optimized version. Each static mesh in this scene has been set up with an LOD. It means that at each distance, there's a version of the static mesh that will be displayed. Far you go from the static mesh, you have a different in coloration detailing which version of the static mesh is defined. So let's take, for example, any static mesh on the scene, and let's say the rail, for example, because the rail really shows us the difference between the versions. So you can see in the first place this gray version, then the red one, then the green one, then the blue one. Each one denotes a version of the LOD. This one is LOD 0, the red one is LOD 1, the red one is LOD 2, and for the blue one, which is the latest version of the LOD and the less constraining for the hardware that you are running the scene on. So let's see, for example, the rail and go for the static mesh of the rail, which is this one. And you can see the number of LODs by filtering on number, and it is 4. It means that we have 4 versions of this static mesh, which will be displayed in scene according to the distance from the static mesh. And when you talk about distance, we are talking about the distance between the camera, which is, if you are in a game, always stuck with the player. So it will be the distance between the camera, which is on the player, and the static mesh. This is how you have the current skin size calculated. It's the distance that we have between the camera and the static mesh. And you can see now that there's different version of the static mesh, which will change by distance. The far I go from the static mesh, the number of LOD will be more. It means at LOD 0, I'm near. At LOD 4, I'm far, or LOD 3, sorry, I'm far from the static mesh. How can we see this version of the static mesh? Easy. All you need to go is go select for the preview. LOD 0 is this version, the best version of the mesh, which has the most number, the great number of triangles and vertices. And if you go, for example, to LOD 1, you can see that already there's a change. Look at that. Already changed to 200 triangles, 400 vertices. LOD 2, you can see less triangles, and LOD 3 less, let's say the less good looking version of the mesh. But hey, from a far distance, you won't see the difference. Look at that. Can you tell the difference between LOD 3 and LOD 0 at this distance? Not that much, all right? So it will be easier on the GPU or the hardware we are running from. And if you are far from the static mesh, it's more obvious that we will use a version which has less triangles and less vertices, and thus better performance on the run. All right, so this is the LODs, which are different version of the static mesh. Let's go back to LOD 2 so you can see the difference. LOD 1, and finally LOD 0, which is the best, most detailed version of the static mesh. All right, so what happens here? Here it's already optimized. It means that I did change the LOD setup, because by default the LOD setup that comes with the static mesh may be not suitable for your needs. So it depends really on your needs. If you are on a PC or a console, high-end device, it shouldn't be that important. But if you are in an Android or a VR device, a mobile device, it will take more importance. So this is the version of the LOD we have in the non-optimized version. This is the version I have in the optimized version. So let's check first if you are right or not. Optimized, we have green. For the rail, we have already here gray, red, green, and blue. But if we go back to this scene, which is not yet optimized, you can see there's no difference whatsoever. Whatever the distance, the mesh is either green or red. It means that it's still on the best version of the mesh, even at the far distance, which is here, near here. And you can see there's no difference whatsoever between the two. And Unreal will render the static mesh at his best view, even if it's at distance, which is not optimized. So let's do the optimization now. And let's start by going to the rail, which is here. So let's remove first this filter. And here I have the static mesh for the rail. I'll double click on it. And you can see that even at the far distance, you have that explanation. We're still on LOD 0. Look, it changed just net at 0.1 screen size, which is not good. So how do we change this? Easy. All you have to do is go to LODs and see if you are having auto LED. By default, it's auto LOD, but let's check the screen size and see what happens. So it's 1 point, but it's not showing us the other LODs. So I need first to tell this Unreal that I need my custom setup. So I need to check this one first. This is the first step, custom, right? So we have custom, and let's go each LOD section and see what's there. All right, so the percentage triangle is 50 here. And we have 25 here, and we have base LOD 0. So I need first to check the screen size. So let's check the screen size. So I do have it something like 11. Let's try to do a change, not changing. Let's see why. And screen size must be decided at the point version. Okay, so it's not 80. 0.8, then actually you can start at 1. Okay, no need, because what I do first, I always start at 0.80, 0.8, then 0.5, here 0.25 screen size, and at the end, let's say 0.11, 0.12. So you can see that now each time we go far, let's go back really slowly so you can notice the difference. So 0.8, it's still on LOD 0, and it will change once I'm 0.5. So 0.6, 0.56, and 0.51, 0.50. I'm still at LOD 0, still here. Look at that. So if I go under 0.5, I'm already LOD 1, which is the behavior I want. You can see that the change, look at the number of now it is changing, and it's at the last, the last LOD will be at 0.12, which is good, all right? So make sure to save the setup so I won't lose my screen size. And let's check the percentage of the triangles, and you can see that they are already at the same values: 100%, 50%, 25%, and 12.5. So let's go back now to the scene and see if it has been optimized. So you can see that, look at that, way better. You can see that it's way better, and now it is optimized, at least for the rail. All right, so what happens for these rocks, for example? You can see that the rocks are not changing. They are still at the red version, which means that they are still at the best version of the rock. So let's go to the rocks, And before going that, what we will do a copy paste between. So we don't have to redo all the values for the screen percentage and so for the screen size. So what we will do, we'll do first a copy of the LOD setup we have on this static mesh. So to do so, right click on the static mesh, level of detail, and do copy LOD. So I did a copy LOD, and now what I will do, I will go to the rocks and I will do it for each and every rock. But before we have the same number of LOD, but let's see the screen distance first before doing so. So you can see that the screen distance is by default at 2, which is not what we want. So before we need to check the other screen size, so I click on LOD custom first, then screen size. Oh, sorry for that. LOD custom, there you are. And now I need to check number of LODs. Is it 4? Not even sure. No, we don't even have a better number of LOD. Let's check first number of LOD. No, number of LOD is 1, which is bad. Okay, so we can see that we don't even have a number of LODs. We're still on LOD 0, which is bad, and it's not really optimized. So this static mesh will stay whatever the distance at 4,000 triangles, which is bad for performance. So let's do the right click and paste from SM rail. So you can see it tells past LOD for SM rails. So what I will do, I will select all the rocks of the scene, and I can do the past for each and every one of them. So cool, past LOD for SM rail, and now look at that. We are already having Unreal is already recalculating the distance fields and update the scene. And you can see now that we have better LOD setup, at least for the rocks. So we need to do the same thing, for example, for this static mesh, this one, and you can see that these are not really optimized. This arc is not optimized, still grade, whatever the distance, the rail is okay. So I need to do the same for this one. So there it is. So Control B to go to the static mesh, right click, and it still remembers the LOD from the SM rail. Do the copy paste, and boom, there you are. This one gray, this one red, and this one green, and the farthest one is blue. Is there a limit for the number of LODs? No, you can put whatever number of LODs. So for example, let's go back to the rail and add another LOD, okay? But at this state, I don't think it really matters because it's already greatly optimized. But for the sake of experimentation, let's select the number of LOD and increase it for 5, for example. Then I need to do apply changes. So this way, Unreal should add a second one. So there here, now we have 5. We have LOD 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which means that we have 5 LODs. And now we can change the screen size. We need to go first LOD custom. Right, so I can change each and every one of them. Go back to screen size, and there we are. So you can see that if I change the number, automatically I lose the custom screen size, so I need to change it back. It's okay, so it will be an occasion to change the screen size for another values, so for 0.6 for example, or let's say 0.7, no, let's say something meaningful. Yeah, let's say 0.8, then 0.5, 0.25, and 0.12, and we should be good to go. So no, this is cool, but I need also to change the percentage of screen, because now you can see that it automatically divided the size by 2, But hey, I can put on more percentage of screen and lower it more. So for example, I can instead of 50 go with 40, and then go with 20 percentage, then go to, let's say, 10, then 5. Okay, there's no need to use the values I put there, but make sure that you, for example, subdivide it evenly, and let's say here something like 80 would be right. So let's test now this version of the LODs. So LOD 0, still okay. LOD 1, less details. LOD 2, 3, and 4. You can see 4 is really drastic. It really removes literally a great chunk of the trail. But hey, I told you, at the far distance, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's really not important, because look at that. Really, you won't notice that static mesh. I can say that 4 LODs are okay. I just put on 5 so you can see that you can, of course, need to change the save. And look now for the rail. Now we have added a new color, which is light green. It's far distance, you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. So this is light green. So this is green, blue, and then another color which is light green, right? Okay, so let's do it, for example, for this big static rock out there. It should be on a different LOD. So maybe I need to do a Shift G so I can deselect, so I can look up for the static mesh. And you can see that this one is still at the old static. Yeah, first I need to do a copy. So, okay, save first this one. I don't know if I want to save, but hey, let's see. Copy, go back to the rock, and let's choose this one. And do a paste from some trail, and now it should apply, and you can see now the rocks are going green. That's cool. So it means that I'm using really the less important one, and you won't see the difference. Look at this distance. Let's remove, let's go back to lid. Look, who cares? Really, this rock is far, really far, and I don't need it to be this way. So this is pretty much it. The only thing left, I think, is that you can, let's say that we, the last thing is you can apply different LODs according to the platform we are running for, right? So this is, we are running, I have my Android setup, but actually it's for VR. So this is not really Android, but it's the same, because VR is literally an Android app, okay? And this is Windows. And let's say I want to have two different versions of the LODs depending on the platform. All right. So if I go to the rails, still using the rail, and if I check for example, the screen size, let's go custom first, LOD. Then let's go to screen size, and look at that. You do have now this plus button, which can override a specific platform or platform group, right? So let's say, for example, if I am on a mobile, I don't want the screen size to be changed at 0.1, but I select first which platform I want. So I do have mobile, desktop, Android, and let's go for Android. If you're on Mac or Linux, same. tvOS, you can choose really depending on the platform. Let's do it for Android, okay? And now for Android, I will tell him, instead of screen size, do 0.8, right? And I can do the same for this screen size, 0.6, for example. And for this version, I add also Android, and I go with 0.4. Same here, Android, and so on and so forth. You can change whatever the version you want. 0.50, and finally on this, at this far distance, I want a screen size change at for example, 5. Not 5, sorry. 0.05 and save. So now for the rail, I need to be on a preview, an Android platform preview. But first we need to check the percentage. This it doesn't mean to change this percentage, and you can see that it will stuck with the percent triangles for the one you choose. All right, it's 80%, for example. I don't think you can change it for, but you can tell me on the comments, guys. Okay, let me know. So this is the screen size. I can override it. You can see I already did. Do we have this for the percentage? No, I don't think so. So there's no way to change the percentage. It's still between the platform, it will be still the same. Right, so the last question, can we do a copy paste now with this? We still can do, but for some reason, Android doesn't like to copy the platform specific things, which is bad because I need to redo it for each and every one of this. So if I do pass now LOD on this one, and if I go check for the screen size, so let me first LOD check custom, go to the screen size, and you can see they're not there. They're not there. It means there's no, I need to do it manually for each and every one of them, which is a shame. I would really love to have this option here in Unreal. That means that I need to redo all this for each and every one of the static mesh. Hey, if it's needed, you need to do it. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you have a better way to handle it, to do a copy paste between LODs. And if you made it this far, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot. And thanks for your hanging out till this moment. And it's a bye for now.